Hello dear students, welcome back to your English class. I hope you all are doing fine. I know that you all are really missing your school a lot. So we can do only one thing in such scenarios, that let us all pray together that this so-called coronavirus gets disappeared as early as possible, okay, so that we can all go back to our school. All right, okay. So until then, let us continue with our classes in this manner. So today we will start with the 4th chapter of your main book, Beehive. And if you see the title of the 4th chapter, it is mentioned as A Truly Beautiful Mind. This chapter will tell us basically about Albert Einstein. I hope you all are aware about who is Albert Einstein. You may not know in detail, but at least something you know about Albert Einstein, right? So here we will learn a little more about Albert Einstein, okay? Before we start the chapter, let me tell you a brief introduction about the chapter. So this story is about so-called the genius scientist Albert Einstein, and during his childhood he was not accepted as genius, but he developed his scientific ideas and gave several theories of science to the world, and we all know that. In fact, he became famous as a genius scientist. However, he had a very sensitive heart which always longed for the welfare of the humanity. And in the last decades of his life, he worked tirelessly for peace and democracy. And let me tell you one more thing. He was totally against arms build-ups, and he made the world aware of its destructive power, that how much destruction can arms do. Now let us see the summary of the chapter, okay? So Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879 in the German city of Ulm. He had a large head, and his mother thought he was a freak. That's what his mother thought about him. He was even not very talkative, and he was also never liked by his playmates, his classmates, his friends and all. In fact, his mates often called him Brother Boring. I repeat, his mates called him Brother Boring. Albert had a special interest in mechanical toys. He loved playing violin. He was sent to school in Munich. It's the name of a city. He was good at studies, but he felt suffocated there. And his headmaster believed that he would never succeed in his life. I repeat, Albert Einstein's headmaster believed that he would never succeed in his life. And I hope you are getting me. What am I saying, right? And why am I saying? What his headmaster believed, if that would have been true, then we would have not been today studying about Albert Einstein. So he proved his headmaster wrong. He wanted to study at a university which is at Zurich, and in this university the system is much more liberal as compared to the previous place where he had studied. And when he got enrolled there, he went there and got distinction in physics and also in mathematics. There he met a fellow student, one of his mate, named Mileva Maric in the university, and later on Albert married Mileva. Albert and Mileva, they had 2 sons, but their marriage failed in 1919, and Albert worked as a technical expert in a patent office. He continued working on his idea on relativity, and in 1905 he published his great theory of relativity and became world famous. In 1933, Einstein immigrated to United States, and 5 years later, the German scientists in Berlin discovered nuclear fission. The German scientist, that means Albert. Okay, 1933 he immigrated to US, and 5 years later he discovered the nuclear fission. The scientists of America, they were greatly disturbed when they got to know that a German scientist has discovered nuclear fission. Then Albert wrote a letter to the then President of America to apprise him, to make him aware that the extent of destruction that the atom bomb could do, or the atom bomb could cause. His view was taken very seriously by the President. But the atomization of Hiroshima and Nagasaki had happened. Okay, in fact, he wrote a letter to the President of America that how much destruction can atom bomb cause. But in spite of that, we all know what happened during the Second World War in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And after this, Albert was completely shocked. He was disturbed by the destruction, okay, and the mindless use of science. Yes, he termed this as a mindless use of science. Science, if you use it in a mindful manner, it's of great use. But if you use it in this way, it's the most useless way of using science. After this, he wrote a letter to the United Nations, and he suggested that there should be a formation of world government. But his letter bore no fruit. There was no, result of his letter. And in his last days, in the later days, he has spent his life, in politics, but not that he wanted to be in power or he wanted to rule. Not because of that he joined politics. His later days was in politics just because of his intention, that is advocating for world peace and democracy. He wanted the world to be at peace. He wanted everybody, all the people, should have freedom. And at last, at the age of 76, he passed away in the year 1955. So see, Albert Einstein, right, such a great soul. So generally, we don't find everybody, or each one of them sacrificing their life or working for the cause of humanity. You will only find great souls, okay, they have got huge love for humanity, and they always think about the welfare of human beings. And to achieve their goals, they work continuously so that the world may become a better place to live in. And as these great souls have a broad heart, they are often ready to sacrifice their happiness, and the service of humanity is everything for them. We should take valuable lessons from the life of such people, and Einstein was one such great soul. Okay, with this we end this chapter. Please go through the text. I repeat once again, your textual reading is very important. All right, just understanding the chapter without having a depth knowledge of the text or about the content won't be of, it won't give you a fruitful result. So please read the text, and in case if you have any query, you may get back to me. Study well.